Hey guys, Steven, TheSalonGuy here, and I'm going to be doing a special request haircutting tutorial today, the Victoria Beckham inspired haircut. Now, as you all know, Victoria Beckham has had several different really amazing, beautiful haircuts, but today I'm going to be showing you guys this one, which is kind of like the stacked bob, but it's also got kind of a pixie and heavily layered feel to it, which is really, really cool. So let's get started. Let's start with the sectioning. First, what I've done is I've created somewhat of a diagonal section coming from the high point of the head down to right around the ear. So that's the first section, and I clip it off. Then the second one is from the division point from the top of the head to behind the ear. And the third one is right down the middle. So the first section of the haircut is going to be very crucial because this is going to determine where the length is, because the first piece that you cut, remember, falls down this way. And then whatever is above that will fall on top of that. So she had her hair pretty heavily layered throughout the bottom, and this part started probably around right here. So let's take our first section and going to determine, okay, we're going to cut this straight out from the head all the way around in through the bottom here. And we're going to take the first section straight up from the head and cut it following the head shape like this. So here's our first piece where it falls right here, which means everything is going to come from here and work downwards. So again, this haircut isn't necessarily a stacked bob because although she had it, but this one is more of a layered feel throughout the back, working into the angled shape throughout the front. So let's continue this same section throughout the whole back. When we get into the corners here, you just want to be careful. You want to start to over direct back a little bit so we can leave a little bit of length throughout the corners. I know a lot of you guys are going to be curious to this as to the layering throughout the bottom half here, because you're going to put yourself in a comfortable position to cut this way. So after you cut the first section, maybe you can get one more in by combing it straight out like this. Then you want to switch your hand positioning this way and comb the hair again straight out, and you'll see your guide, and you're cutting palm to palm, which allows you to get in closer throughout the nape. The back is done now, and this isn't the easiest haircut to do, but I just want to recap kind of how we did this. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. You can start out in the sides here instead of going right down the middle, and what you can do is you can hold this on a diagonal, because again the top piece here is where it's going to fall down. So this is where the angle or the sides are going to start. So that's where this falls, and that's where the kind of the graduation will start coming down in through here this way. And then you can take diagonal sections all the way through the back, stop in the middle, do the same thing on the other side, and then you can also cross-check by holding everything horizontally straight out. If you see any little pieces, then you can cut them horizontally, and everything will be pretty much all balanced. You want to make sure you definitely cross-check just to make sure everything is even. That's the key to this haircut, is constantly cross-checking and making sure everything is even. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to start on the other side here, and then we'll start from then we'll go from this side to the other side. Now we're ready for the sides, and this is how we're going to connect and keep this going on an angle coming down through this way. So we're going to see where we left off in the back here, right here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to comb this, over direct it, straight back. You're going to see your guide underneath, okay? And you want to keep this somewhat, low. You don't want to go too high or too low like this, but a little bit lower. And we're going to cut and just follow that guide, which you'll see directly underneath. And what that's going to do is that's over directing. So that's going to leave the hair longer going into the front, as you can see like this. See how it's starting to build that in? So we're going to take the next section, over direct it back again, same exact thing. And there's our guide from before. We can see it right underneath, and we're going to just cut the guide. Now we're going to do this until we get right to the very front, and then we'll be done with this section. Alright, as you can see here, this is what the angle looks like after you over direct everything back. It just falls right into this way. And again, as you saw, she likes to tuck it behind her ear like this, but we still have to layer this throughout the top here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually work on the other side. We're going to do the exact same thing on this side, and we're going to over direct back. You'll be able to see the guide when you comb it straight back from the head, and when you connect it with the back. So we're going to continue to do this. Again, now you want to be able to work this on an extreme angle as well, because that's how she wears it. And we're just going to continue to do this all the way to the very front, and then we'll be done with the front and the sides. The sides are complete now, and as you can see, again, it creates an extreme angle, but we still have to layer it because her hair is pretty layered throughout the top here. So we still have to take this all quite a bit shorter, but here's what it looks like from the front, and then also she has a little bit of a fringe coming in here. So let's start with the layers connecting the back with the top here. So at the back here, we've got a few things going on in the top here. This is a lot shorter on top and also longer into the front. So what we need to do, again, like we've seen a bunch of times, is connect the back here in through the top. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do this by cutting shorter to longer. And you can brush one section all the way throughout the back here. You don't want to go too far into the front, but what you want to do is cut shorter to longer, and here's your guide right here, and then cut it like that so that you're leaving length going towards the front, but you're also layering it as well, and you're removing some of that excess weight. So we're going to do this throughout the sides here just to create some layering and some more blending, and then once we're done with this, we'll be ready to start the actual front section with that angle that she has. Now that I finished cutting shorter to longer throughout the top here, what I did on the side is I simply just brought everything straight out like this, and I'm connecting it now, and that's going to create the graduation and the softer feel. It's also going to remove any of the excess weight. Okay, and you can do this all the way into the front, and you want to make sure again that you're leaving the front a little bit longer. So you want to over direct back a little bit, but this is what's going to connect everything and blend it all in and give it that softer look, so it doesn't have any harsh lines in it. So again, this is somewhat of a angled bob or asymmetric bob, but it's also nicely blended in with all the layers. So you want to get to the last sections at the front and just kind of over direct back a little bit, and you'll be able to see if there's any excess hair that needs to come off here. There it is. And then when you comb it down, you'll see it has a much nicer blend to it, and it's not so heavy. Okay, and that's the key to this haircut. All right, and there you have it right there. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side here. Okay, and that is what's going to give us that blended look and also that longer layer throughout the front here. So we're going to come down on the sides. We're going to over direct back a little bit, because again, we are leaving some length throughout the front, and then we're going to connect this through the top. All right, working our way down to the sides here. Now when you get to the sides, you want to be careful. You do want to over direct back, because she does have this coming in quite a bit longer, okay, throughout the bottom of the sides. So we're going to over direct back a little bit here, cut short to longer, and then again throughout the sides, just kind of push that out of the way a little bit, over direct back, and then cut that just to blend it in so we don't have any harsh weight lines. You want to make sure this is all nicely blended in and has a beautiful, nice rounded shape going into the front. And the very last bit in the front here, okay, let's over direct this back as far back as we can, just because again we want to leave that length. Okay, just a little bit coming off here, and there's that piece right there, just a little bit. And then also bring this back here, over direct it back, and there's a little bit that needs to come off. And just check the bottom half. Again, the hair you'll see what needs to be cut. And then you have the extreme angle, but also it's very nicely shaped and blended in. Okay, so it has like a beautiful rounded beveled shape to it. All right, like this. All right, now we're going to work towards the front, into the front here, and as you saw, she had, you know, this angle coming all the way up here, working in through this longer piece right here. So for the very front section, what I want to do now, you saw she had it coming up here and then sweeping down. So I'm actually going to use a feather razor for this, and what you want to do is just figure out wherever you want to start it. So let's say right here, and then we're just going to work our way down in through the front, working in through the length. This way we're creating a softer front, okay, but again, it's giving us kind of that wispy look. And if you have any little pieces that come off that need to be cut, then you can cut them manually. But here, as you see, there's that angle, that look that she has, excuse me, working down into the front. If you need to go even more extreme, or you need to do it again, you can come in on the other side, and you can be a little more aggressive and cut down into it like this, and do it, you know, kind of section by section, if you don't want to do it all in one shot. But again, as long as you're working down into where the corner is the longest piece, then everything should be coming in nicely like this. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow dry this, and then we'll come back and do any dry work that we need to do. Alright, well, as you can see here, this is looking pretty amazing. This is, I think, pretty close to the style that Victoria Beckham has had. Throughout the back here, as you can see, it's somewhat, you know, you can wear it messy or you can wear it sleek, however you choose to. And there's the angle that comes in throughout the front here on this side, and then obviously again on this side, we've got it where it's pretty extreme. She has this tucked behind her ear throughout some styles when she has her hair back like this, which you can do that with some paste or some hairspray. But what I want to do now is just I want to go in and soften this up a little bit more with some dry cutting, and then we'll be finished. So what I want to do is I want to take the thinning shear, and I just want to go in and remove some of the weight and just go right into the hair, because again, this hair is relatively thick, so it can use some weight removal, and even in through the back. You just want to go in like this with the comb. You can then pick it up straight up from the head and remove some of the weight this way, which is also great for texturizing and layering as well. So you know, see, as you can see here, it's getting a little bit messier, and that's okay with this kind of style. The blending shear, the thinning shear, is actually going to be great because it's going to remove a lot of that excess weight, but it's also going to, you know, add some extra layering that might be needed throughout the haircut. And this is also really, really awesome to do this when it's dry. Look at all this hair that's being taken out. Okay, it's always best to do this on dry hair because you can see what's going on, and you can really get in there. And this is a great way and safe way, because the hair is dry. You can see everything that's going on, and I love doing these finishing touches when the hair is dry. This is definitely something you want to do for this type of haircut, which is, you know, finishing touches, dry cutting. So I'm just going to do this a little bit more, and then we'll finish with the style, and we'll be all done. All right, here's the finished result. I think this looks incredible. I had a great time doing this. This isn't necessarily the easiest haircut to do. I'll say that right now. But the dry cutting really helped. And as you can see, you can accentuate some of these pieces by kind of piecing them out with your hands here. Like you see how she has it a couple different ways. Here's the back here, as you can see. This looks great. You can wear it messy. You can wear it smooth. Like you've seen her a couple times where she's got it up like this. All right, you see it just goes up that easily. Also, you've seen her where it's tucked behind the ear like that. All right, that's one way that she wears it. And I think this came out really, really nice. I'm very proud of this one. This is definitely not, you know, for if you're a beginner, but if this video has helped you do this, then great. So here you have the Victoria Beckham haircut and hairstyle.